Hi, good evening, and welcome to Psychic Talk with Priscilla Gendron. I'm your host, Priscilla Gendron, and I'm sorry for the delay, everybody, but our guest is a little bit delayed. She's having technical issues to get on board, so I left it as long as I possibly could before coming on. So in the interim, I'd just like to welcome everybody. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Kathy. Sorry for keeping you guys waiting. And just put into the chat any place that you're from. So if you logged in, just let me know where you're from. So while we're waiting for our guest to arrive, I thought I'd just talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about tonight. Our special guest is Tamara Caulder Richardson, and she is from the USA. We have been friends for a little while, and she's an incredible psychic medium. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. And hi, Kathy. It's really great to see you all very much. Right. So while we're waiting for Tamara to turn up, if anybody would like to ask any questions, just put your questions in the chat box and I'll endeavor to answer them. So this could be quite an interesting session today. So if anybody's got any questions or would like to ask anything, please feel free to just pop it into the chat. And I hope everybody's having a good day today. Yeah, we've had some wonderful temperatures. It's been in nearly 30 degrees today, so we've had some really nice warm weather today. So sorry, Kathy. I know you're in the UK and it's a little bit colder there. Okay, so if anybody has any questions. Okay, my daughter thinks her house is a bit haunted. Okay. Yeah, it depends on the level of what we would call haunting or unusual things happening within a home situation. Sometimes it can just be energies around you, or it could just be a collection of energy that's been residual, something that could be from somebody that's around you, or so you said what is strange openings. Okay, strange happenings. Right. I don't per se think there is like I don't feel like it's anything malevolent. So I would just suggest that you keep an eye on that, or just make sure that it is exactly where it needs to be. Just do a cleansing, use impepu, as we would call it here, or white sage, and just give the house a good clean. Okay. If it is a spirit trying to get their attention, then yes, it would be good to just cleanse the area or cleanse the home. Okay. Well, okay. So, all right. It looks like our guest has arrived, and I'll just tell you a little bit about her. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just introduce you to an amazing woman. I've known her for a while. Her name is Tamara Caulder Richardson, and she's an evidential medium and near-death experiencer. She comes with many years of experience, and like myself, she is somebody who I would say has known the trials and tribulations of being a psychic medium, of having to go through all these different things within her life. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on board. Hi, Tamara. Welcome.
Hello. How are you? We were switching chairs and trying to get. Oh my gosh.
I thought you weren't going to make it. Well, here we are. Welcome.
No, I had technical difficulties, and I think it's because I usually have StreamYard that I bring in guests on my channel, and I'm not used to being a guest on StreamYard. So I made it.
Well, welcome. Welcome to a very sunny South Africa. We're like almost hitting 30 degrees today. So it's nice. We're nice in short sleeves and warm weather.
Wow. So it's not like that here. I tell you what, it is nice and cold here.
I can imagine.
Well, and I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina in the USA. So it's winter and it's kind of yucky and dreary. So sounds like it's much nicer.
So we've got some people on board, and Tracy says, yay! Thanks and welcome, Tamara. That's fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to invite Tamara to just tell us a little bit about herself. She's had a fascinating life, and like myself, being an evidential psychic medium has not been an easy road. And I don't think for anybody that is in our field, we ever have an easy ride to where we are and how we get to the point of where we are, in a sense. So maybe just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Oh, wow. My journey. I think a lot of my supernatural, psychic, mediumistic, and remote viewing, channeling abilities, I think a lot of it transpired after having multiple near-death experiences, starting as well, really before I was here. I remember and recall having a prenatal where I didn't make it and was totally spirit. And then I had an NDE at 3 when a nail went through my head. That'll connect you with your crown chakra. And that'll do it. I literally had a hole in my head 2 years. It was under a dresser. I was playing and I was bouncing up and down. I was playing hide and seek, and it went through my skull. And then at 4, I was in a car accident, and I was child seats. And so I went through the windshield. And then at 5, I was 15-minute dead on arrival of pneumonia. And then I guess it was on and off for 2 hours. They were trying to get my vitals. And then I was put in a coma 3 days, which I spent it with Jesus, and I still talk to him. And he talked to me about a lot of things over there, about how to manifest and about, being loved to people. Of course, he would say that. And then when I was 10, it was at a family vacation, and I got hung up under the water in the pool where the guys were playing volleyball. And so that was another one. I heard angels. And then the I guess it was like light source started opening up under the water. And I'm like, oh, and I literally went, oh no, not again. And then when I was 28, I had a reaction to one pill. I'm kind of sensitive. I can't take things. I'm very sensitive to like laundry detergent. And so I think during all this time, like at 3, I can remember talking to spirit. And so I think each time just opened up more and more and more. And I just remember, and we've talked about this before privately, that spirit people have always been my friends. They were there for me when regular people weren't there for me. And because they're like us, but they come from a place that's, they're more authentic. Because in this life, sometimes people don't always tell the truth. They don't always do whatever, but they're at a higher vibration. So they just are, and they're at peace with who they are, how things are. They've already had their life review. They're at a peaceful state. They're just there. And so they're more sincere in their intention. So I was talking with them at 3, fully communicating, seeing them. I used to see them constantly. And it didn't really trouble me till I got older, and I realized I kind of got the idea this was not normal.
Yes.
and then it frightened my mom. My grandmother was not frightened because she had ability. So it didn't frighten her. I didn't really know about her. I didn't really understand those things. But to me, it was normal, like you. It was normal because that's all I ever knew. And then I just, for many years, like, go away. I got to live in this real world, because it's not easy living in this world. I had to figure out this world. I still don't know if I figured it out, honestly. I mean, I look at, the news of the day, and I'm like, I don't know which world I'm in. I think I like the heavenly angelic realm better, but which is why I think I like channeling so much, because I actually kind of get to go there and be in that vibration. And then with the child abuse, I had a lot of sexual child abuse and also mental. Like I was told I would never be anything, all this kind of stuff. I was told that I was pretty and I should just marry because I had nothing else to offer. That's a horrible thing to tell a female. Oh my God. It was horrible. So, trying to, the abuse and so forth, my NDEs were sprinkled into that. And so literally it was spirit guiding me through life and like a parent. And I took a lot of great comfort in that, but I didn't really realize I would be using it till much later in life. But the astral travel came from the abuse. So all these things sound really great. And because I can do a lot of things, but it started from desperation and trauma, I mean, it wasn't like I'm sitting there going meditating,
The thing is that, it's when you listen to your life story, it can be very traumatic, and it could have taken you down a completely different road, with everything that had gone on in your life. What made you sort of follow the path that you did? Because it could quite easily have just pushed you over the edge to the other side, and you could have gone off the rails. You could have, done drugs or, gone a completely different life.
Wow, thanks, Priscilla. You're right. I could have been a prostitute. There's all sorts of options I could have had.
It's because the fence is very thin. And, the moment you're sitting on that fence, you could fall either way. What sort of made you fall, or what drew you more towards the spiritual side?
Well, again, to me, that was always more real. And that's what kept me going. And I feel like that even with like my abuser, which was my stepdad, and I feel like he did that with my sister, although that we never talked about it, because I don't believe you should bring things up that are uncomfortable like that unless she ever wanted to share it. And I was always very protective of her. And the way he treated women in general, terrible, the stuff he said. And it sounds like I came from trash. I really didn't. I came from a upper middle class family, but things go on that people don't realize. So I think that, how did it make me the way that I did and so forth? I think it's because my parents, it's a time that it was like the 70s. They were partying early, I'm thinking my dad was in radio and broadcast and TV, and we had celebrities come to our house. We had, I haven't even told anyone of this. So you're getting it raw today, Priscilla. It's just because I love you. I'm going to give it to you raw because I know some of the people here. So I'll go ahead and give it to you, because I know especially there's a lot of women here, and on some level of abuse, it's unfortunately common, even if it's verbal abuse. So, but growing up, we had the cool house, we had the water bed with the fur bedspread, we had the metallic wallpaper. I mean, it was very groovy looking. And so most kids, when they get older, they want to party and rebel. But my parents were already doing that. So I kind of went the other way. I was like the adult in the family, trying to hold order down. And so I found myself in fear a lot, because I didn't know, especially when they went through, my mom started finding out he was having affairs the entire time they were married for the 15 years. But she was very naive, but she started it took her a long time, but she started finding out. And so when she did, things got really ugly, like when she confronted it. And so I didn't know from one day to the next if there was going to be something violent in the house. Like one day, it was her anniversary, and he came home at 2 a.m. and brought her roses. He had been out with someone else. And so she beat him with the roses, and he was, that's one example. And he was scratched up. Another time she cooked dinner and he didn't come. He came really late because he was out doing whatever. And she took the entire meatloaf in the glass casserole Pyrex dish and threw it against the wall, and it went on. Of course, I had to clean it up. So what does that mean? It sets your nerves on edge. So I'm kind of like, oh my God, like what's going to happen from, I felt out of control. My hair started falling out. I had colitis really bad. I don't have that now. but I was like a nervous freaking bundle. I mean, my adrenals were burnt out. And so that I had to work on that. And occasionally I still do. My thyroid went to crap. I still have to take something for that because I literally was in this trauma all the time, not to mention growing up and him coming into my bedroom or different things. And I even tried locking the door. And mom's like, don't lock the door in case there's a fire. I'm like, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that to me, the prayer, pray, God help me, because I was in a state of trauma. When you're in a state of trauma, you don't really feel like I'm going to go party, caution to the wind. And I didn't really feel rebellious, like I was angry. I was more in a state of, I was terrified. I was really afraid. And I really didn't have, from growing up from 3.5 years old to about 12. And as I became older, it was right around 12 and 13, I got really, I'm going to be honest, I got really nasty and mean. I got really mean. See, you don't know this side about me, but I got really mean. It was because how I survived, like, back off, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I drew a lot. I'm an artist. And so I would draw and I would just kind of give the impression of leave me alone. But in my head, I was going all sorts of places. And I was talking to God, help me out. So when I was, close to 18, I was like, it's like being in prison. I was like, wow, if I can just get out of here and go on with the life. I didn't want to end up with some dude who, or some person, and then kind of repeat what my mom's situation was. So, so to me, when that happened, I had to deal with anger the first little bit, but I met my husband really early on and he was very sweet. He has always been very supportive. So when I left and was working through the issues and had a normal life, had an ad agency, I still had these abilities. I knew things all the time and so forth. It was not till later in life that I came out and as a medium, I think I was like in prayer over this, honestly, 14 years. And I said, please don't let me be seen as a charlatan. And I was talking to God. And then apparently I didn't understand what was being said. So then Jesus showed up. I need a teacher that says that. And he said, oh, then you won't be. And I haven't been. And so I went and did training at the Omega Institute in New York with John Holland. And I thought, well, I think I'm pretty good at this, but if I'm not, we'll see. So I go to see, well, let's see what spirit says. So I asked for signs and I got signs all weekend, like crazy signs, like really big ones. And out of 65 people, I was sort of indifferent about it. I was like, well, I'll give it a go. And I did well. And then at the last day, they said who wanted to do platform. And so literally spirit picked my body up and said, take your place. And they kind of pushed me. Wow. And I had the surge of energy and I went, whoa, like it was just sort of like, I didn't even know I was standing up. And then I was like instantly high, like they just bum rushed me and put me on the stage. And there was about 65 mediums there. I've been doing this quite some time. And I remember at that moment, I mean, I don't want to cry, but at that moment, I knew who I was and what I was supposed to be because.
And that's an amazing feeling when that happens.
And you know what I'm talking about. I know you do.
Yeah.
And when you have that clarity, and you were the same way, different, and you gave people advice and you were psychic and intuitive and would see spirit. But when I knew is when I got on the stage and it was some grandmother came through that. And my body was being moved to that person. And that was really cool. And then the woman started getting close and I started moving like her. And then easy bake oven, things they used to do together. And then I went like that into a trance. And then I kind of let her take me over. I mean, I liked her, so it was cool. But later on, and then John Holland and Jan, they were like, oh my God, that's so good. But I don't know. I was just so into spirit. Like I knew it felt good. It felt good. I mean, I was like, I could feel her, how much heavier she was. I mean, I could feel her presence. She blended with me. And then when I was done, we went to the bathroom afterwards, the whole class. And this woman came up to me and she was like, that was my grandmother. I loved her so much. We were really close. And she said, my God, you're so good. How long have you been doing this? And I said, tonight. and which was an honor because these people have been doing it a long time. So, but I was trying to find out if I should do this or not, and the answer was totally yes. But it was the feeling. It was oh, don't get me crying. It reminded me of the love relationship that I had with Spirit as a child, and I felt so loved. And it's just like it was just it felt so good to blend with them and to be able to have that healing with that person. And what I really like and what I miss because of the pandemic and all that, we've been in isolation and blah, blah, blah. But I used to do these shows, these Southern Women shows, and I would go and these big convention centers, we'd have like 30, 35,000 people a weekend. And I would do 3 shows a day and read people all day, you know, for me. But I mean, I would read people all day. And I would say, all right, you know, why these people some people didn't have a lot of money. I was like, just bring the whole family in. I don't care. Just as long as we have enough chairs. And so I would go on stage and they would occasionally, I would get, you know, it's a particular personality and they would move my body on the stage. And it's just, I really like it. There's one guy that came through, like he liked Star Trek. And he passed early. His sister was in the audience, and he said that he liked me because I look like Scully. And I was like, and she started laughing. She goes, my hair is really not brown. It's really like dark auburn. This camera lighting sucks. But anyway, and so she started laughing, and but I said, he wants to hug you. So it was the weirdest thing. So she gets on stage, and I just said, all right, go ahead, do me. So he kind of, you know, blends with me. And he's jumping up and down. He's slapping her everywhere. And then when he's finally done, I was like, what was that about? She goes, oh, that's him. And I went, and you don't realize the signature of a hug and how different they are. Like my husband hugs me like this, like a flasher. He'll take me in, and I don't know why he does this, but it's something he does. Another hug was someone that was an Italian father, and he came through with all this detail, and it was another stage thing. And at the end I said, oh, he wants to hug you. And she came up and he did this kind of whatever weird hug. And he did this thing on her arms. And then he punched her like I'm punching someone on the arm. And then when I'm done, I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know what that was about. He goes, oh no, it's what we did. I went, what's wrong with you? Who does that? And so, you know, we know the love by someone, not just as a medium by the words that we say, but it can be a wink. Or it can be a hug, or it can be just like a signature. You know, you can see someone's signature and recognize it. And so that love is connected by so many things, but I miss the physical part. I even had an African-American man. I was in the audience, and he's asked me to do this. And this is the conversation I'm having with him. I said, don't make me do this. And he says, I want you to do this. So he wanted me to do a mock-up striptease. And I was like, a really bad one. And I went, no. And so he said, please. And I was like, you owe me. I'm like, y'all owe me. And so I said, there's a man here, blah, blah, blah. And he's here for his wife and he wants to show you something. I'm like, you owe me. And so I'm doing like this really horrible dancing. And then there was a grown woman and her child there. And she started laughing and crying. And she started screaming, Mama. The mother, really pretty mom, she sat down and she was like, oh my God. I said, and I stopped. I said, please, I got to stop. I said, you know this man. She goes, oh my Lord, that's my husband. And I said, so you had a good marriage, right? And she started laughing. She goes, the best. And I thought, but it wasn't anything, you know, sexual. It was silly. But
silly and funny. Yeah.
It was silly and funny.
Those are the wonderful things. You know, those are the wonderful little points that you bring forward for somebody when you're giving them that evidential mediumship. And it connects and resonates with them so much. One of our live linkers would like to know a question. She says, I'm curious, how did you deal with your anger towards your father or mum?
Well, initially, you know, I didn't let that release because I was in an unsafe environment, right? So I had to get away from the situation. So when I went off to college, I remember I talked to my grandparents, and he had money, but he wouldn't give me anything. I mean, I had to beg for like $10. I mean, and later on I found out he was making back in the late 70s, like $350,000. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know we had money. And so went to my grandparents who were really hardworking, were working late in their 70s, manual labor, and they helped put me through college. So when I went away and I had a lot of time to think, because I didn't know anybody. I remember just sitting downstairs in a big TV and I didn't know anyone, but yet I felt like I was doing something for myself. So the first thing is you have to get quiet, you have to deal with it, and you have to take your power back. So by that action, I knew it was in my best interest, even though I knew no one. And I'm sitting here all alone, everybody's doing stuff, but I thought this will get better. And honestly, I needed to be my own friend. So what happened is then the anger started coming out. And I will say, I have moments of it. But I was anger most of my 20s and 30s. And my husband is a saint because I met him at 19 and he's so gentle and kind. He's so very easygoing, just really sweet. And he's always cooking and helping. And he's just trying to keep me calm and all that, I don't know how he did it because I was really cute back then. Maybe that was it, but I was volatile. I mean, I really had issues and so I'm not saying that's good, but the anger had to come out. And so now when I recognize that I'm being suppressed, and I know you all listening know what that is, you know what it feels like because you start feeling that a part of you is being invalidated or that you're not being supported, but you can start feeling it. And when I get the sense that someone is disrespecting me or being invalidated, I don't care who it is, but especially a man, I have to say, it's especially men. I cut women a little bit more slack, but with men, you'll see me. You've seen it. Have you seen me flip the switch? I'm a really nice person, but I will flip the switch because meaning like I will assert myself and what have you. Yes. And I think it's because I can recognize it now. It also helped me later on in life. I did martial arts and it was very, very, very aggressive. Okay. I mean, we would do like for my junior black belt, I had to test multiple times. And you have to do like 100 push-ups. That's just one of them. You have to do 100 of everything. And we had to run in the hot pavement in the parking lot with no shoes on. So it was brutal and it toughened me up. And I did that. Honestly, I was in my late 40s, but it's something I wanted to do for myself. So however it is, you take your power back. It could be speaking up. You don't have to be mean about it. You can just say, yeah, I disagree. See, you could do that, or just say, yeah, well, that's not for me. But you don't have to make a big scene, but you just need to do something to have a voice, just to assert yourself. So the anger, I had to work through it. And there will be moments that it will come up because I will see the same exact behavior in a guy. It'll happen occasionally, not a lot. This like reminds me of my stepdad and how he treated women. And I guess I'm a little protective of my sisters. Yes. I'm protective of you, Priscilla.
Thank you. It's so important. But that's the thing, is it's so important to deal with our anger because otherwise it just spills over into our lives and doesn't allow us to sort of move forward or move on.
Right.
But I think that it also maybe helped you in a sense because you stepped into a spiritual realm and you stepped into a spiritual field where anger doesn't play a role.
Very good point. My God, I don't know why I didn't really think about that. But you think about, being prayer. The prayer was more, they've changed. I didn't have any formal. My grandmother told me about Jesus, thank God. But she was very spiritual. She would write these amazing, she has like a book full of like, she's very poetic, like prayer. She was really pretty. I don't know what they were, but she was really very spiritual deeply. But my family was not, my stepdad was an atheist, big shock. And so my mom was afraid to have any kind of spirituality because he did not want to talk about that in the house. He made that very clear. And so to me, when I was in a state, some of my prayers were like, help me. Oh God, help. But then later on, it became give me peace. It was peace, and then meditation, and then astral travel. So it's a little bit different now. I'm not saying I don't go, help me out, but it's more like I have conversations now, like a real person with Jesus, and he tells me stuff. He's very funny. So we have conversations. And then the rest of the time, I just basically meditate, and I try to blend into like what I feel like the divine is, like nature, because the divinity is in everything. And so now I just sort of blend and realize I'm part of something bigger that I probably don't really realize, but we all are. And I try to just get in it through a state of appreciation, because one of the things that I've noticed, and we were not Catholic, my grandmother was Protestant, but I had Catholic friends, and they would talk about the saints. The saints had crappy lives. They had really bad lives. I mean, some of it included torture. It was not good. And you think, well, why is that? I think that when you look why people go through what they do, and I think the earlier question you said, Priscilla, was why did you make the decisions that you did? Because it could have gone horribly wrong, because we do have free will. I think that I already knew what hatred and evil, if you want to call it that. I mean, like molesting your daughter and doing things you shouldn't are not, is not normal. And I knew that. And I knew not all men were like that. As I got older, I realized this is not good. This is not normal behavior. And then as I met other people, I even had a bigger perspective on it. I only met a couple of people that was worse than mine, but otherwise, this is the part that sucks. Before we get here on the other side, back me up, Priscilla. Before we get here, we agree to stuff. Now, did I agree to sexual abuse? No. Did I agree to learn humility, and especially to have understanding and love and a respect for people that have been tortured or abused, or kindness to humanity? Yes. I didn't know what the lesson was. I didn't agree to that, but I was part of that. And it's not like we're not an eternal spiritual being, meaning I'll be fine. But I look at, unfortunately, in this world, in this plane, we don't learn things unless we have the opposite. So we have, our teachers are not always the ones that are love and light. Sometimes our teachers are a-holes. Right?
But it's true, because sometimes we come from a dark place in order to shine the light. And that's so important as human beings, is that sometimes we have to have the hardest lessons in order to be able to step forward and be able to shine the path for other people to walk an easier path.
You're absolutely right. And I know that you know that. And some people, it's childhood, some people, it's a crappy spouse or whatever, but you learn, like, I don't want that. I need to get out of that. That's not working. So we learn from these things. And I think that it makes it, certain things in life do toughen you up. But I'll tell you, this life's hard, man. I mean, it's the other aspect of it. And I feel like that, I'm cheating a little bit. It's because I learned to pop out of my body because of all the abuse and go on the ceiling and then go places that now I just honestly like doing it. I mean, a lot of times I just don't like a lot of things going on. I love people, let me tell you this, but I don't like a lot of things going on in this world. I don't like to see the riots or the violence or the manipulation or whatever grand, horrible scheme that's going on. I don't know everything. I don't like that aspect of it. And I like to escape. And so many times, especially these days, and I don't know what you think, Priscilla, or anyone watching, but man, when I go to sleep, and I'm a little stressed, I finally go to sleep. When I do, it's hard. And I wake up and I am talking to somebody always. And I don't mean like talking to Jesus. I am like busy. I am going places. I could be talking to you, Priscilla. I'm not really sure, and I know I've done that before, but I am busy talking to people. And I think that we're connected. And the most beautiful thing, even in this horrible, pandemic that's going on, that's happening, all that stuff. I got to meet Priscilla, and I wouldn't have been pushed to have, my channel. I started a channel in August. It's a lot of work, but I have spiritual people on like you do, but I wouldn't have met people in this global community.
Exactly. I was exactly the same. Yeah.
And I'm really, really grateful. I don't think I would have pushed myself, but as hard a work as it is, and as you understand, it's a lot of work for basically no money because you're trying to connect people and build a spiritual community. Seriously, I mean, it's not normal. I've got to get my balance back. I've been working from usually 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day, including Saturday night, for a long time, since August. And I've got to pull it back because I don't want to, lose my mind. But I feel a real need to get people to wake up and to see that we are spiritual. That's our natural state. We are spirit, and to be kinder and love each other more. And I can't really, how you can't just tell people that. You kind of have to have, if you have different people talking and then you see their perspective, then you can begin to see a theme. So I'm really grateful that this has happened because it's pushed me out of my comfort zone. And it's pushed me out to do these things like we're doing right now, to connect with people. And what I realize is that, wow, most of us think exactly alike. We may have different accents, but we think exactly alike. And we have the same needs and the same desires and the same concerns. And it makes me, once again, love real people and not just spirit people.
Yeah, you're right in a sense. Is what happened over the last 2 years, it's turned the world sort of on its head. And you're right. It wouldn't have, in a normal sense of the world, if the world had just carried on the way it was, we would never have connected as soul connections. So for me, I always say that it was the best thing that could have happened to us, because it's brought us not just people in our immediate area, but it's opened us up to the world. So it's allowed us to access the entire world and to connect with soul connections.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's kind of weird because, it's like you pull my little head out of the Ethernet, and it was so funny. And I'm so embarrassed. I didn't know it. This is part of the anger issues. It pops out now and then. You're like, I didn't know who you were. And you're like, well, I had a lot going on. Where I said, well, maybe I've got 20 minutes because I have, how you get people and sometimes whatever.
I remember.
And then you're like, you said you'd give me 20 minutes. I'm like, look, I didn't know it was you. Okay. And then we talked, and then I should have known, because before we talked, your mom showed up in the kitchen, your spirit mother, and with short hair, smoking a pipe. And she said, I really shouldn't be doing this, the pipe. And I kind of got it wasn't hers, like she was sneaking it from someone else. And she said, my daughter, I knew it was your mom because she said, my daughter, she said, she would not believe the stuff she does. To be such an individual, she's contacting people all over the world. She's got all these things going on. She puts these events. She has a lot of activities going on. She's very capable. And so I was like, okay. And she goes, you'll really like her. And then I can't remember much else. She might have said some other things. So when I get on Priscilla, I asked you about that. And then if it was your mom, and I didn't know what you were up to, but you were doing all those things. And so when usually a relative shows up for me, like your relative shows up for me, that usually means I'm going to be friends with someone, because they already know that over there. I don't know that. I'm like, who's this woman? I got 20 minutes. It turned into 2 hours because we had so much fun. I was like, oh my God, she's gutsy and sassy and capable. And
I think the strangest thing for me is that we just connected right off the bat. But it was strange because you channeled my mom and I channeled your aunt, and they both had the name Margaret. And I just found that so fascinating, that we had this like instant connection to each other.
Well, they knew, you know what I mean? They know things are going to happen, but they can't always tell us. And so sometimes the spirit draws close. They know something big's going to happen. They can't always tell us. And so that was my grandmother's sister. I never met her. It was my great aunt. And so I never met her, but I knew when you said that, and I went, wait a minute, I think my grandmother had a sister. I knew my grandmother was there. My grandmother shows up like all the time. All my training, 8 years in the British Style of Evidential Mediumship, it's really kind of impossible. Each time we have a minimum of 60, 65 mediums in a class. Okay. She came through. We probably read 12, 15 people a day for a week. she came through every single time. And then she would narrate who would come through every time. And then it got to be the point that there was a friend of mine in there, and she would overhear and she'd start laughing hysterically. Oh my God, it's her again. Because she just comes through to strangers. It's like, it's her. And she loves big jewelry. I don't know if you can see, I've got this peacock necklace. It's so cool. Like, I love peacocks, like, clairvoyance. And I like big stuff. I get it from her. And so like my big ring, I just love, and she was at one of the things I did with Tony Stockwell was, but he came to the US and we were, he's a well-known medium. And I was in one of his classes and my grandmother kept talking. She goes, oh, she loves my jewelry. It was like really big. And it was so funny. She would talk about people's jewelry, like in the thing. So I knew right away when she came, your mom came, all that. I was like, okay, that's very sweet that they see all this happening. And they also saw that, we've been a support to one another, I think, because things will happen and I'll ask you what you think, or you ask me what I think, or whether it's personally about the world, or are you getting anything? You're like, no, it's really weird. I usually get stuff all the time, but I think things are changing so rapidly, as far as like, if you want to call it prophecies, is changing so rapidly. And I think people's opinions are changing so rapidly that it's moving very quickly. So it makes me think more. I have guests that have been on my show about the holographic universe and like what is really real, what's not really real. It changes so quickly just by our consciousness. So I've heard, oh my God, you probably heard it too. I've heard so many things. I know several Christians that are on my show. They're swearing that tsunamis are coming. Florida's going to be wiped out. I'm like, darn, I wanted to retire there. Tsunamis in California, they've had visions. I've had near-death experience visions. They, a couple of people are swearing Jesus is coming back every day, any day. I'm like, I'm cool with whatever God wants. I'm totally cool. I'm fine. I don't really care. I mean, you just got to live your life. And then I've had people that, oh, the Great Awakening, everything is perfect. And I'm like, well, I'd like to live in your world. I don't think things are perfect. And so you have people like that it's all good. It's all going to work out. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm a realist, but I do believe that what is important, just like with the saints that went through a horrible trauma in their life, I feel like that on a mass scale globally, we're so connected. We're being all like screwed over together. Isn't it great? Bam. Such a family we are. Such a family that we are because of that. I mean, like, I'm actually very personally upset about certain parts of the world, things going on, and I love them and I intercede and I pray for them and I do spiritual warfare for my family, like in Australia, or, not real family, but spirit family, spiritual family. And I care about people immensely. Like, I'm very concerned. I like that pastor guy that I don't know who you sent it to me. He was talking from New Zealand and what's going on there. Like, I totally stopped him. Like, God, you need to handle this situation with this man, his life, and the people there. And that he should be free to express himself however he wants to and not be penalized, especially financially, for that. And so I care very greatly, but I feel that, unfortunately, some of us have been awake a long time. Yes. And so this doesn't make sense to us because we've been awake. We're like, love.
And you're looking around and like, how do you not get it? How do you not see it?
Right. And then some are still, okay. I don't like it all either, but obviously anyone watching this has been awake. Okay. But there's a lot of people that are still not awake. And you can put the signs and neon signs and show them things and And because their paradigm is so strong and their dogmatic beliefs, and I don't mean just religion. I mean, it could be anything. I'm a man. I have a family. I have to act this way. Or whatever it is that traps them in a box. That's what Jesus tells me to tell them about labeling. I said, labeling and judging other people. He goes, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you judging yourself and you limiting your belief system and you limiting what you're willing to look at, and you're limiting and you're labeling yourself. Don't label I didn't even want to call myself a medium. I mean, because you're labeling, right? And now I
Yes.
channel. What do you do with that? And I'm getting ETs. What do you do with that? So we want to be able to grow, but these people feel so comfortable in their own traps that they've created for themselves and their own mind, that their consciousness, they're not awake. So what's it going to take? I can't answer that, but I will say that this is what has to happen. So I do feel like it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. The good news is we're going to all hold hands and sing Kumbaya because people are waking up like, oh my gosh, normal people would go, oh my God, you can't do that to hurt. I'm just making this up, as example. You can't hurt the children, right? That's obvious, right? Don't hurt children. And other people like, well, they need it. It's not really hurting. Da, da, da. There are people that are starting to wake up because they're hitting so many aspects of our life that it may not be this one, but down the road it could be finances. Oh, now people are awake. Okay, now you hit my finances. So they're waking up at different points, and when they do, a lot of times when they wake up, they're pissed, which is actually pretty high tone, because if you wake up and you're indifferent or afraid, that's not good. You don't want to be in fear. And so some people are waking up pissed. That's actually higher tone, because that means that person still is in action and they haven't submitted into defeat. And so that's really not a bad thing. So I think it is a battle between, there's a lot of ways to look at where we are right now, but I think is it a battle between good and evil? Essentially you could say, yes, it is. I still think the book of Enoch's playing out, but I also think it's a battle of our consciousness and deciding to go back to the basics of what we were taught from our grandparents and so forth, to be kind and loving and to believe in ourselves, to believe in others, to believe in a better world. And I think that the small people in this world, including me, I think that we're looked at like cows and that we can be subject to control, but no one can control me. No one. Even God gives us free will. So unless I get a direct order from God, I'm not doing crap about anything that I don't feel in my solar plexus that I feel like that I should do. So I think that it's about integrity, and it's about love and humanity. And sometimes when you love, you have to do things you're uncomfortable for the greater good. So where is this going? I don't know, but it has to happen. And it's really sad though that we're at this place that we treat each other so badly. I don't even like going on social media, and some people start mouthing off. I'm like, oh God, I got to get off of this. And I think it's important to protect our energy, and we find ourselves getting a little depressed. We need to protect that. So that's why being spiritual and working with spiritual people, you're going to raise your energy. You're going to be in a love vibration. You're going to have people that support you and generally not judge you. Generally, the spiritual community does not judge other people.
No, we don't. And that's so important, because we've already been down that road. We've passed our judgment, and we've allowed it to be left on the wayside. So I think when people are starting to become awakened to this new way of being, or to this spiritual, revolution, it's so important that we are there, because I feel like we're holding the space for them.
Yeah, that's why so many light workers, if you've noticed in the past, and I'm asking you, Priscilla, in the past, have you not noticed that a lot of light workers were lone wolves?
Yes.
They were generally lone wolves, but now we're starting to come together. That's how bad it is. We're like introverts. we're starting to come together and like bring our crazy spiritual stuff together. Whether it's stones or
bringing crazy back,
or bowls, or like, well, or me like, oh, let me channel. Let me get this Astar ET here. We're bringing it all together because we're like, look, we know we've got superpowers. Okay, they're all different. Whether you read colors or you read visions or whatever it is, dream therapy, we're trying to come together to bring our like superheroes to make this planet better because we see it. We see exactly, well, I say exactly, well, the best we can, what's going on. We don't know everything, but we can see enough, right? That others can't. So we are trying to hold the space to move forward. We are the ones that will bring the beauty, that will bring the vision of a better world here, because most of us are creative, we're artists, we're either writers, we're psychic, we think outside the box. We're not normal. We're really hard to conform, which we could be a target, just saying. But you know what? This is where it really comes in. You know, if anyone that's different has ever been thought growing up that you're crazy, now's a good time. Let them think you're crazy, because then you're not a threat. But honestly, we are one. I know at night I talk to other light workers in my dreams all the time. We band together on an astral level.
And that's so important that we're able to do that. And we're able to sort of transmit this energy out into the universe, because it's actually sending a very positive message out to everybody.
Yeah, it is. And I think we're doing something else, you know, because we care. And I think that there's a part of us on a soul level. I mean, all of us, everybody watching too, that kind of knows, I don't know, I feel a sense of urgency, you know, like we need to speed. I mean, like, you know, the other day, I mean, not that I'm know a whole lot about politics, or I'm not an idiot, but I know that my husband just mentioned between me running here and there and going doing more Zooms and stuff, he said that our president here, I won't say the name, told Russia that if they try to, you know, whatever, he wants to pick a fight with them. I said, do you think we go into war? He goes, oh yeah, they love that because there's money. I was like, oh great. So, you know, you know, what we want is we want power to the people. That's what we want. Power to the people. We want the people to count. We want voices to count. How that's going to happen? It's going to have to be a God thing, and it's going to have to be us paying attention and doing whatever little bit we can. We need to do it. And I think expressing our love for one another is one way, because I truly, truly, deeply care about everybody in the world, because I know so many people are like me, and I just want to hug them and encourage them and let them know they're not alone.
Definitely. So I'm putting out the little chat and saying, put your questions in the chat box. If anybody got any questions for Tamara, please pop them in the chat and we'll endeavor to answer them for you. Now, Tamara's also got her own YouTube channel, and it's called Seeking Heaven.
There it is.
Seeking Heaven, a near-death experience. So when did you start the channel, Tamara?
That was in August, and I was before that, I was doing this thing called Jesus Speaks. It was in March. So that, if you think March 2020. So actually, to make this all make sense, in January, I went on a disco cruise. My sister and I took my mom for her 75th birthday on this thing, and they had all these bands there. It was a hoot. And so that was before anyone knew about COVID or anything like that. And let me tell you what, I was sick as a mofo. I was sick. Because I came back at the end of January. I mean, how sick? I came back and I was on the plane and I was like this. I was like coughing like this. And I was like, oh God, please just don't touch me. I was curled up in a little ball, just waiting to land just to get home, because we had from Florida to Charlotte, North Carolina. It wasn't a long flight, an hour and a half, but it felt like forever. And so I get back, I go in the door, I said, I need liquids. And I go to bed. And I don't think I got out of the bed for 10 days till I went to the doctor. I felt like my spirit was outside of my body and not even in my body. And my chest was heaving. It was like it had it. So I thought I had pneumonia, and because it was literally making a separate noise outside of my voice. It was like, ah. And I was like, this is creepy. So I went to my doctor, and I've gone to him for years, my general doctor. And he said, why are you here? And I'm like, I got a creature in my stomach. He goes, oh God, for sakes, let me see what this is. So they didn't know. So they gave me stuff. I was on the shit with people all over the world. I mean, literally we had people from Arabia, China, Ireland, the UK, everywhere, Canada, everywhere. And so I'm pretty sure that I had the COVID like the beginning, because there was nothing like it. And so that was January, at the end of January, then the February, March was the isolation. And March 17th, Jesus said, I want you to channel my word. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And he asked me again, the 18th, and I went, no, again. And then finally I was like, okay, I really need to consider this, because I don't think he really asked me stuff. So I said, okay. So I did it. It was on my birthday, the 22nd. And I did those 15 of those. And I literally got the messages, by the way, FYI, if anyone wants to hear it. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's on my other channels as Academy of Love. But they were prophetic, because he answered stuff we want to know now, especially the one into the storm. And I mean, it was shocking. He talked even about the V word. He talked about that too. That's before we even knew about anything. That was a while back. Yeah, I know, right? And then he also said that God's sovereign power is greater than, and he started naming stuff going on now. And I was like, because someone just told me about it. I was like, oh, I should go back and look at it. I was like, oh my God, that's chilling. And so he gave me scripture to it, like, one, I don't remember where it was, but he gave me names like Timothy 1. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'll write it down. And it would say things like, one of them, it would always match what he said. And he told me, but he said, what was it? Like, God is sovereign over all rulers of the world. And Jesus is in charge of all the rulers and all the so-and-so. And so basically it was his way of saying, I know what's going on. So, and I'm in control or whatever. And so after that, I was limited. I was only a limited amount. And I think because he covered everything. He covered everything in those. And then he told me in August to do this, the seeking heaven, the near-death experience, and other phenomena. And he said, I want all religions. I want all mysteries, UFOs, everything. I said, what about Bigfoot? He goes, him too. I want all of this. And I said, yeah, but not everybody loves you and knows you like me. He goes, that's not up for you to decide. And it doesn't really matter. He said, long as they come to my Father, that's fine. It's at least in the right direction. I went, oh, good point. He said, you're getting to open people's mind, and it's entertaining. People have to be entertained. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started that. I knew nothing about the technology, nothing about the search engine optimization with this, nothing about green screens. Apparently, I don't know that much about it still, because I look really weird. I don't know what's going on today. I'm like, okay, I have to fix that. But you work through these things. And so I started with near-death experiences. Since I've had 6, I started with that. But I've had a lot of multiple spiritually transformative experiences too. A lot of those angels, aliens, seeing Jesus in the flesh, visions of Mother Mary, which is interesting because I'm not Catholic or anything, but I know who she is. And so, I mean, they're all in that God realm. And so I started that. And honestly, it's been really, really, really hard work. It's been a lot of long hours, just as you know, Priscilla, promoting things and spending time on it. But what's happened that I didn't know is that I've met incredible people like you, and it's given a platform for their voice. And some people say, well, I've heard both. I don't really care either way. I've heard, you don't promote yourself, you promote other people. And I'm like, yeah, I'm secure in myself. I'm fine. It's not like it's my freaking channel. I mean, it's really done well. It's become very popular. And I'm like, okay, I'd get bored if it was just me. I'd be bored silly. I don't want to hear that. And then the other people go, you promote yourself too much. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't really care either way. The fact is, I wanted to develop a spiritual soul community where people would have a voice, and they would have that I would create, and I have a safe platform where you could ask things, that you wouldn't be judged, that we could look at all things, and we could have a laugh along the way. And now it's happened. I've got some channel members that have signed up, paid subscribers. I'm now at that point now. I had to learn all that. I didn't even know about that. I'm like, how do you do that? Now, what do you do with that? Merchandise. I didn't know. Okay, now what do I do with that?
Oh, yes, you've got a wonderful selection of merchandise as well. Maybe you're sending me the photographs. They're absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Somebody's going to complain. I'm plugging myself. I totally am. This is, look at that. That's the Galactic Federation. That's one of my glasses. You can't really see it. They're twinkling on and off. Yes, Jesus in the middle. You got Aster, and then Arcturians, Syrians, Lyrians, Pleiadians, and you got Saint Germain. So, Yeah, I think about where is this going? I have to laugh because my channel, I've had psychics, I've had mediums. We've done a reading together, and then we had Suki and Leo. That was fun. And you could see all our different styles. That was a blast. We
Yes.
should do that, something like that again. That was fun. And then I've had UFO specialists. I've had Fiona Van Rensburg, the Palladian DNA activation stuff. And I put myself on a holodeck and talked about my DNA activation, and we did one live. It's a wonder. I'm like, either I'm going to lose a lot of people, or I don't really care, but they love it. I'm like, how can you make all this?
I think it's important because you're getting the people on your channel that want to be there, that want to know this stuff. So you're not losing anybody. You're actually gaining the truth seekers.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm trying to get people to question, to step outside the box. So, for example, I had a guy on Jody Cook who actually, it was my husband Clay, saw it on TV. I was like, oh my God, we got to get this guy. And what he does, because I just think it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. He hunts. He's ex-military. He has a team with him, ex-military. They have a canine unit. They have like the outfit, the patches and everything, and they hunt werewolves. And I'm like, that is so cool. That is so cool. But this is why I don't camp. I'm like, no, I'm not interested in this. But just to talk to him, I said, he calls them dog men. He said, but in Europe and different places, he said, they're werewolves. He said, now the ones I'm seeing, he's seen them. He said, they're anywhere from 8 to 10 feet tall. And I said, they just want to kill people, don't they? He goes, they're more intelligent than that. He said, yeah, they're vicious. And I'm like, you do this for a living? I mean, actually, I think they're going to have their own show on a big network in the US. And so he was kind of working with me, but that gets people thinking out of the box, because it's obviously important enough. He's got a whole team, and they're going to get a TV show on this. And he's been on several channels. They have footage. One guy gave a deathbed testimony of seeing one of these things. I mean, it looks like a werewolf. I mean, it's big. I mean, it's scary. So I think at this point, I have to laugh. It's all real. Werewolves, Bigfoot, fairies, trolls, unicorns. So I'm like, how do we go from unicorns? Well, that's another t-shirt I have. It's called Seeking Unicorns. How do I go from unicorns and fairies to I love Jesus to I'm talking to Astor on the Galactic Federation? I don't know, but people love it. Such a weirdo. And here's the thing. Don't label yourself, right? Yes. Don't label yourself.
Very true.
And I mean, you got to grow. I mean, you got to, step outside the box, right? I mean, you can, love Mother Mary and also love Yogananda and read the Quran and do singing bowls. I mean, who cares?
Yep. We can be anything we want to be now. So I've asked everybody to put some questions in the chat. And so if you're up for some questions.
I am.
Okay. So our first lady is Tracy Spriggs, and she says, Tamara, is any of my ancestors with me, and any messages, please? And thank you.
Oh, that's really sweet. I've met Tracy before, haven't I?
No,
Have I?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. I've seen her somewhere. Maybe it was on your channel or something. I don't know. Her name looks familiar. Yeah, let me see what I can see for you. Ancestors, I love that. No, that's what they are. Okay, so can she respond back if I ask her something?
Yep, she can put a chat in the box. She says no, she hasn't seen you before.
Oh my Lord. Okay, no, well, all right. It doesn't matter. I feel like I've seen her name before. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yes, you can respond. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a woman here that's stepping forward. I'm not sure which side she's on yet. And this feels like that someone that has such a sweet presence around you. She's around you quite a bit. And it does feel like it's your grandmother, but I don't know. Let's see who it is. But she pins her hair. She does something with bobby pins. That's what we call them. You call them bobby pins, and you put them, those little straight pins in your hair. And she does something with the bobby pins. She's always with me. Okay. So do you understand the bobby pins? I don't know. It was something she did when she got older. Anyway, she'll respond. So, okay. She's very close to you. And this is one of those things that she's feels like a protector of you. She's a protector of your feelings. She, let's see. And she also, I feel this woman, unless I'm blending it with another grandmother, sometimes they like to have a grandmother off, but it looks like that she used to sew. You would see her sew. This helped her to focus, and she worked with some type of sewing here. And she is concerned about your feelings and so forth. Do you understand? Okay. She understands that. So she's concerned about your feelings. She wants the message. She's, okay, first of all, they know everything we think. They can't help it. They're spirit. Okay. So they care more about the feelings of our heart. We're getting the dream. Okay. Our dreams and things that we want accomplished because they love us and they're really at a state of peace. So they're just here to kind of help us. They can also learn from us. So they're not everyone in spirit. Everybody thinks they're all like helpers and guides. No, some of them aren't that ascended. No offense to anybody's, spirit family, but sometimes they're helping us, but sometimes they learn from us too. Right. So it kind of is, just like relationships here, they go back and forth. So let me see what she has to say about you. Okay. She says that you're troubled and sorry you asked. And you have some anxiety and that concerns her. You have anxiety about decisions that need to be made personally with you. Also career, but also more personally, because your feelings within you are changing and you're not sure. I think it has to do with relationship, where that's going to go. And you're unsure what you want to do with it. Does this make sense? Yes, that's correct. Sorry, but you already knew it anyway. I mean, meaning, hopefully this is just validating to you. No, they can't tell us what to do, but she loves you. She's just having a talk with you. Okay, she wants to iron out the problem. Oh gosh, don't you? They're not going to get too personal, unless you're open to that. Okay. So she said you're bored in your relationship. Do you understand that you're bored? And it's not like anything horrible is going on. It's not like that. You're just sort of like, oh, do I just keep going forward with this? Do I kind of like, is this what I do? She's saying that part of that has to do with you, that you're not fully present with the person that you're with because you have anxiety about other things. And it's kind of like it's like a hamster in a wheel type thing. So she's saying that if you would relook at who you are and redefine who you could be, sometimes for example, God, I can't believe we're talking about this. Sometimes if I feel like I've been working a lot and I don't feel like I forget I'm like a girl or something, I'll like mock up this inner goddess thing in my head or pretend I'm a mermaid. I don't know, like whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? I kind of I'd have to get back in the game, I guess what I'm saying, because I am married. I have to like, okay, what do I do? Because I get so into my stuff that I forget. And she's saying that you're part of that too, that you can create that. He's following your lead. So I don't think she's going to say part of it's your problem, but she's saying that you have the solutions within you to move forward. She's saying that there's a lot of positive things there. She's saying there's a child involved. She's also saying that he really loves and respects you greatly, but he's following your lead. So you just need to decide what the relationships needs and what you need. The power is within you to do that. And you're waiting from some outside source for something to happen, but it's you. The buck stops with you. She says, indeed. So that I think this is going to work out just fine. This anxiety is because it's like you're waiting from outside source for validation and you don't know what to do. Just decide. Just decide. Just decide not, oh, I'm going to stay with someone or not, but decide how you want, if you are going to stay, how that's going to be, what it needs. Like for us, we need to get out and do things and have more activities. So pick one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like that, I got to work on that too. People are being called up inside and some people aren't necessarily traveling or getting on planes. So you just have to decide what would be fun to take up a new interest together. Yeah. So, calm yourself. You are a powerful spiritual being. You were loved and supported on the other side. Your husband adores you. He's just sort of clueless. He didn't know. No offense, man. I'm sure everybody watching is fantastic, but sometimes us women have to help things out. And, um, you know, it wouldn't hurt to get the little romance thing going on. But that to me, that falls, I take, I think that falls on the woman a lot because the guys are just following the woman's lead. The stars and the moon and everything have to line up for a lot of us women, before we consider anything. If you say the wrong thing, it's out, I mean, everything. So we're kind of in control. So they're kind of like, we're just following your lead here. So, decide what you want, have a nice meal, have a nice chat, and be in present time, and things will go well. Oh, thanks, Owen. Oh, it's so nice to see you here. Yes. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I need to have you on my channel too because you're really cool. All right.
Right. So our next little message, one is for Catherine. Any messages for me tomorrow?
Oh, okay. Let's be more specific. Do you want psychic or medium? Or
I think for whatever comes up for her.
A particular thing. Oh my gosh. I don't know who I'm picking up here, Kath. I mean, it might be you, Catherine. But I don't know if you want psychic or medium with us. But right away, I got a concern with an animal. I don't know if it's a cat. A concern. I don't know. I'm going to make sure I'm tuning into you. Is that you? I want to make sure I got the right person here. The energy. Concern for an animal. And then Shelly's wanting to know too. Okay, Catherine, can you respond?
I think she might take some time to respond.
Okay. And also, there is there's also a mother and a father here in spirit for you. Okay, but I need to, in order to connect with her, I need to have at least some kind of yes or no feedback. So to create that energy bond, so I can move forward. Because it's really not for me; it's for you. So if I can't understand that, I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly. I just have to have that. So maybe we should put, if Catherine can't respond, understand. Know your mother and father are here. They love you. They're with you. You take too much responsibility with the family, and you need to let other siblings step up and help with that. There's also kind of a sick animal and so forth, and you need to change the diet to a sensitive food diet. Where do I get this stuff? It's crazy. And all will be well. But you keep worrying about you're not good enough and keep helping and helping and helping. So many of us do. I understand this. But go live your life. Your mom is saying, go live your life. Go live your life. And she goes, go plant your own garden. And I think she really means go in the garden, but go plant your own garden. So, people will be fine. You don't need to take care of everybody. Sending you my love.
Thank you. Okay. Modi Live would like a message as well.
Okay. So do you know some of these people, Priscilla? You do.
Modi Live, I'm not, I don't know Modi Live, but
okay. So this person is that I'm speaking to, Modi Live, whatever. You're a trip, okay? You're full on personality. You're a big character, and you have family. Oh my God! I'm like a character. It's a different energy. Do you? I'm like, this is a character, and like the energy is different when someone's like really high energy and like, I'm like, oh boy. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because there's relatives here that are like that too. Okay. Do you understand? Go ahead and own it. I said, own your stuff, own it all. Just don't label yourself. Just go for it. Just, if you do have a label, just keep adding to it. I have, who is it here? Well, I have a few people here. Your family's a trip. Okay, so I've got an uncle here. It looks like a grandmother, granddaddy, but I think it's your granddaddy's uncle or a brother that's here, and your grandmother keeps telling him to be quiet because he's silly and he's like acting goofy, and she says to be quiet. And I was told you're weird. You're not weird. You're special.
Yes.
Somebody says you're weird, you slap them in the face because tell them Tamara told you to do that. You're special and you're going to help. You're part of the ones that's going to help show people how to laugh and not to take themselves so seriously in this world. So you need to remove that negative language and say you are special and you're a mission to help people laugh and help them to understand themselves more so they can own their greatness too. How about that? You like that better? Okay. And it's true. So you've got your grandmother with your granddaddy. Like your grandmother's really strong. Like she not only has strong hands, but she is strong. Like she had to always be kind of like the matriarch in the family and like get people to act straight. There was craziness going on around her. And she's like, we're not going to have that here. We're not going to deal with that. And that's who she is. She comes to you. Oh, Lord, I love how they tell on you. Okay, so do you understand your grandmother, your granddaddy, and his brother being in spirit? Yes or no? Okay, we'll get to you, Catherine, in a minute. I'm talking about Modi. Yeah, okay. So let me keep going. I'm going to keep the energy moving. She's saying that whoever you're with in a relationship, that you let them dictate. Now, this is the opposite of the pace of things, and that it's almost like you might not admit it, but it's almost like a little bit subservient. Okay, that's fine about Uncle. It's fine. It's fine. He's acting silly, and I was like, no, you're not going to talk because you weren't close to her. So you were going to let your grandmother's mentioning this. She's saying that it's time for you to step up on your own. And I don't know if there's a boy here, that you have a child, but she's saying that that you're so loving and you're so good and such a good mom, but that you need to do something for yourself. She said, you're very good at taking things and beautifying it, whether it be hair, nails, clothes. You're just good at that. And she was saying you could even, she wants you to shine more. She said that you could, and it's for your personal expression, just to kind of get it out there more. But you could even do like a YouTube or whatever channel, TikTok, Twitch, whatever you pick, on things that you think that are interesting, like beauty tips from nothing, homemade conditioners or whatever it is that you do, because it's artistic and it's self-expression. It's still self-expression, but she said you're very creative with things you think outside of the box. Do you understand this? Grandma, grandpa, yeah. They really love you a lot. Okay. So that's all. She wants you to step out more. She wants you to step out more and show your greatness and put words like weird. I don't know what that means. What does that really mean? I mean, I personally, if I think someone's different, I like that. If you're boring, if you're boring and blah, 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 I mean, really, who wants to be that? I mean, I don't want that. I mean, right? I mean, how many people that are different have normal friends? I mean, I don't like that. I mean, I like different. Okay, good. So you just need to own it. Be bold and own it. Actually, I'm going to do a talk on that on my show before the holidays start up. I don't know. But it's be bold and be you, and to own who you are.
It's important to own who you are.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you own yourself. You've never been, and we've talked about this, Priscilla, you've never been ashamed of saying, I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. But I know, I told you I have a friend, she's very sweet, but she will not. I said, you have a website. That's what you do. You're medium. And she goes, but I think it's, she doesn't like saying that. I'm like, I don't get it. Just own it, whatever you are.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. You go out there and shine and make it happen and put extra glitter and sparkles on it. And when you have your show up and going, you make sure you tell Priscilla so I can see it and support you and subscriber button.
Okay, so our next one is Shelly. Hi, is there any message for me?
Well, gosh, which way am I taking, psychic or medium? Because I'm cool with either one. First of all, I'm seeing you're an overachiever. I get it. You know what? I can't just show up and do something, I've got to like overdo it. So I totally get it. I overdo things and I have to go tell myself, do I need to do all that? So let me see who's stepping forward for you. They're showing me a kangaroo. So I don't know if you live in Australia or New Zealand, but they're showing me a kangaroo. I was like, okay. I'm not sold yet. I don't know if it's your mom or your mom's sister that's drawing close. It feels like that. I've got to zone in on this. It's someone they look like they have shorter, like reddish hair, and and they're pulling an ashtray close and smoking, and they're at a kitchen table and they're like, we need to talk. And I'm like, it's like girl talk. I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? So I'm feeling I'm not sure if it's the mom or the aunt that you mean and her sister, but this is the feeling that I'm getting.
Mom is still here. Mom is still alive.
Okay, then it may be this. It could be. I don't know if it's a sister. Let me describe the woman, and you tell me. Short auburn hair. She cuts it short. She colors it, and smoking, obviously. Coffee drinker. Nope. Yes. I said, do you like tea? She goes, yeah. She likes coffee a lot too. She likes to get jacked up on the coffee, by the way. I'm sorry. She likes caffeine. She goes, really? Kind of any kind of caffeine. She even likes to eat coffee beans too. This feels like this woman in life, and she's your family member. She's a family member and it feels like on your mother's side that I could be wrong about that, but that's how it feels. I could be wrong. Let me narrow it in, but she's kind of was considered an outcast in her family. You know how they're listening to us. Oh, your spirit family listens to this whole thing. Gosh, hope they're entertained. They don't have something better to do. But anyway, that she was considered an outcast and she did what she wanted to do. And she was very colorful in her language. She said what she wanted to and very expressive. And so she said, I said, what about marriage? She goes, well, I went through a few of them. I said, how many? So I don't know if there was 2 or 3 or she's on her 3rd one. Does this make sense?
Yeah, this is no mom, sister.
Okay. I can't figure it out. Maybe it's on your daddy's side. Let's just go with the description right now because I can't zone in on that. Okay. It could be a grandmother that's coming through like that. Okay. I could be wrong on that. Remember I said I could be wrong because I'm not tuning in that level. Exactly. I know she's family and it could be the dad's side, but who is it that smoked that they died early of some form of, it feels like a cancer. I don't know if it was a breast cancer, but she tough, hard-headed, and short hair, kind of wiry, and yeah, very independent-minded. Does this make sense? Unless I could be picking up someone else's energy. Is Shelly still there?
Yeah, she's still there. I don't think she hasn't responded.
No idea.
No idea.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Shelly. Okay. So let me say this for Shelly. I think it's somebody else. I'm sorry. We have a lot of people in the chat. So for you, let's go back to this and then we're going to pick. Remember what I said, Priscilla, help me out about that person, the smoker, because it's somebody here. Okay. Sorry, Shelly. Somebody wants to come through, some spirit slamming me. For you though, Shelly, I do get that you are an overachiever and that you're very detailed and confident person. And that really my message to you is be kinder to yourself and that things aren't going to collapse if you walk away just for a little bit because you're very capable. You're very capable and you get frustrated when people don't abide by things like you, but not everybody crosses their T's. And I know that drives you nuts and gets under your skin. And so you're very, very capable and it's intimidating to some people, especially to men. And you don't mean it to be that way. So just be a little kinder to yourself. That's the main thing. You're very capable and you're a beautiful person. And people watch you. You're teaching them indirectly how to be more efficient. So, no, all is well for you. Okay, so who's Owen? My best friend has breast cancer.
Yeah. Immediately as you were talking, I was actually had Owen in my head, and he's just said
Okay.
to my mom's best friend passed from breast cancer.
Got it. Okay, because I'm trying to figure out this person. Somebody's here. Okay, good. Do you understand? I mean, he may not, but I'm seeing the breast cancer. I'm getting she's kind of wiry. She's very outspoken. She's spunky. She's has the cigarettes, or at least she did. You know what I find most people that smoke, even if they that attributed to their passing, they're like, yeah, well, almost, I don't know about you, Priscilla, but they're like, I did it. I liked it.
Yeah.
So they never really apologize. They're like, I did it. So she's very strong personality and very independent. I kind of see men in and out of her life, but she doesn't really, she's just very independent minded. She doesn't really feel like she needs anyone. I don't know if you know much about her. Does this make sense, Owen? I love that little hamburger thing y'all did. When that you did that with was the hamburger. Was it that commercial that you did, Priscilla?
We're still going to do it, Owen and I.
Okay, it's cute. Okay, I thought, oh God, I think did I get the wrong person? I mean, I thought it was. It looked cute. Okay, okay, here we go. Okay, very much so. She was an Amazon. Oh, she's tough. Oh yeah, I mean, she's sitting here. Look, this is how it's going to go. Oh my gosh. See, you're open to this spiritually. And Shelly, that doesn't mean that you aren't. That doesn't mean, look, they just, you still got your message, and so forth. It's just a psychic one. Owen, yes. Okay. Let's see who she wants to say this to. Okay, let me look at the connection again. So what does Owen said? It's your mom's best friend. Oh, that's okay. So this is going to be for, I'm not saying you won't get anything, but this is for your mom.
From his mom, yeah.
For Owen's mama, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's also passed.
Okay.
So maybe she's holding the door for him.
Right. This is for, now say it again.
Yeah,
his mom is passed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's still a connection though. Let me go here. So she just passed. So she knew you too, right? She knew you too. She knew you on some level because she wants to say something. She's very powerful, strong spirit person. She wants to say something. Oh my God. She wants to give you a message. And then, yes, she might have opened the door to someone else being here, but she wants to give you a message. She said, you're too nice that you let people walk over you. You're too nice a person. I met you once. I think you're really nice, but I wouldn't do anything to harm you in any way because I think you're wonderful. But but yeah, she said you're too nice. She said that you can be kind, but do it with the right people. Be mindful of not letting people walk over you and take advantage of you. Okay, what is she saying? Yes, she was our aunt. Okay, she was our aunt. Oh, like an aunt, like a adopted aunt. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So she said that because I'm like, she knows you. No. She wants to have a talk with you. Yeah, and this isn't a make wrong. This is her personality. She's very strong. And so she just doesn't want, she's protective of you. And this is not just a message, Owen. She knows you and she's part of your little group that she's going to keep an eye on you to make sure that everything goes well. She said she's calling you, I know you're a grown man, but she's calling you a boy. She said, he is such a sweet boy. And and I know you're grown, but she must have known you for some time, but she wants you to get the things that you want in life. She said, be careful who you get into your relationships with in business, because some people like to use you. Yeah, a lot of people like to use people like us. I know you know that. So she said, work with people that see the beauty in you, but also have enough of their own energetic beauty to share too, that they don't have to siphon off of yours. And she goes, wow, that was really pretty. She's much harsher than that, but she has a lot of favor for you. She sends you love. She's just being protective of you. And she wants to, God, she has such a strong personality. And back on animals. It might be you. We're back to unless it's another spirit coming in. We're back to the animal and the cat not eating. Okay, so I don't know if that's you. If not, another spirit person, I'm going to put them to the side. Yes, she is very straight up. I really like her, but she has a lot of integrity. Even though she seems like a pain in the butt because she's really outspoken, she has a lot of integrity. Like she really cares and she doesn't do anything just to please people. So she loves you a lot. Hold on. So I ask her what she's doing. Oh, it's the sweetest thing. She's at the kitchen table and she has her little, sorry, I know they don't really smoke in heaven, but they think they do. And beside her in the kitchen, she said, I have someone here for you. And what they're doing is they're spreading out pictures of the family and looking at it. So, and they're holding hands. She goes, I love her. I love her. And I think this is your mom here because they're like friends, but she's saying, so she said, I love her. And they're reminiscing and they're laughing. And she said, your mom's sweet like you. She said, she's not like me. She said, I'm a ball buster. She's tough. But you have quite a team over there. You've got a lot of uncles around you as well. God, there's just a lot of people, and they come in the kitchen and gather where food was once, and it was mocked up to look like a kitchen that was. I don't know whose home this is. It feels like a family homestead, but just know that they're talking about you and bragging, and they're looking at your I don't know how they're doing this, but they're looking at the baby pictures, looking at family pictures, and they're reminiscing, and they just kind of mock that up. But they think you're beautiful, and you are beautiful, and I've seen your written word, and you're a little angel on earth. So she just wants to make sure that no one clips your wings. Priscilla will make sure of that, right? You're a cookie.
Yeah, it was what the kitchen looked like. So both were ballbusters.
Well, this lady's just really strong, and I think that she almost feels like a big sister, like to your mom. But there is a sweet side to her that, like you. But anyway, yeah, this woman coming through is tough, but I like her. She's got great energy. All right. So what was the anything? What about the cat? Who's the cat? Would that be your cat, Priscilla?
I don't know. My cat's been walking around all over the place here.
Is there something with the stomach or like it's almost like I don't know if they've hacked up. I mean, this is kind of gross, but hacked up something. The food isn't staying down.
No, it hasn't yacked up yet, so fingers crossed.
Okay, so it's not your cat. I don't know because I'm saying sensitive stomach. It needs to change the food thing. So I don't know whose cat that's for, but somebody wants to be sure of that because somebody's very worried about the cat. So I'm not sure if anyone has any other questions. I also, channel.
Yeah, we've got one last question here.
Okay.
From Brentley. Any messages for me from anyone in spirit? Brentley is all the way in India.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, let me I'm seeing, if you want to call it an ancestor, a man, and I don't really understand this, but I don't edit what I get. Kind of like the last lady, don't edit it too much. And so it's a bowl, and please forgive me if I totally destroy any kind of religious significance to this. It's my ignorance, but it looks like a brass bowl, and there's something, I don't know if it's resin in it, and I don't know if it's like a burning, and I see this beautiful, it's a formal kind of suit outfit, but it's a beautiful tapestry that's like silk, and it's tailored. Very nice looking man then, and I want to say has a little bit of facial hair, very well groomed, nice looking. It has a little hat, little looks like a little pillbox kind of hat on that's fitted to his head, and he's over that, and it feels like he's a holy man. So this is someone it feels like they're connected to you, but they're a holy man. Let me see if I can get a name. I don't know, something starts with an R. I probably couldn't say it anyway. He's so gracious and kind. So is this someone that you understand in your family, or is this a spiritual leader that's passed? Can you respond back, Brent? Oh, Tracy, you've got the Jack Russell tummy troubles. Okay, good. Well, sensitive food diet, this is what they're saying on there, and stewed chicken and rice. But I might have merged a cat in there with something too. There could also be a cat. Not sure. Okay. So, and it has to do with an R name. He's coming through to you. Now, it could be, because I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to this could be, because I just said I channel, right? So I channel Ascended Masters. I hang out with Jesus, but I've channeled Sai Baba, Yogananda, different people. Okay. So it could be one of those things. It could be someone that's like one of your guides coming through, because as soon as I said it, we get this person that looks holy over this thing, and is with the R name. Would that make sense to you? Like a spiritual leader of some sort that you study. I mean, if I'm going to have Einstein come through because some guy's finishing his work and he knows all about it and helping him, people know when you are thinking of them. Even the Beatles. I've had the Beatles come through because if you like their music, they know that. Does that make sense there?
I think we've got a little delay on them responding.
That's okay. That's okay. So let me see if I can pick up anything. It feels like burning sacred. Yeah. Yeah. Who is that? That's it. Because I said I couldn't say it anyway, because I was going to say something like blah, 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 right? And I was like, oh, great. You're just going to make fun of this guy's person, you know. Who is that? Okay, so maybe I need to learn about him. Okay. All right, let me write, because I'm going to study this person. Let me write this in. Ramana Uja. Okay, please forgive my cultural ignorance. Is he, can you just, who is this guy real quick before I channeling? I'm sure he's wonderful, but he seems very holy and nice. Really? I'm going to check him out. Okay. So this is your message from him. I'm going to channel. Okay. Cool. You get the jackpot today, Brent. Okay. So what happens, let me explain to people, is that I sort of tune out and I just sort of let them step forward and they will say something. Now, it may be evidential what they say or they don't, but it's usually the ascended masters or people that are holy that are on the other side. They say really sweet things. They don't really talk like me. They're very, very beautiful in their words. So here we go. Bear with me. I consider this to be sacred. Okay. So here we go. And he's showing me, I'm smelling something with this incense and burning it in front of him. And he's doing something like with this incense. And he's going, and it was always within you. Although I am humbled that you have looked at my words and followed my spiritual suggestions. However, it is not just the words that come off the page, but it is filled with an essence that permeates into you, into your body, into your bloodstream. For you are the temple. And not only do you spend time with me during your reading sessions, but we spend time traveling into beautiful places, beautiful temples with the streams, and we talk as friends. And we have known each other before. And I have great love and respect for you. And I know you feel the connection too. So I am not an academic lesson, but I am your friend. And although I may be helpful as one of your guides, I am your best friend first. And know that the words that I speak are true to you because you've spoken them before as well. And I say, go forth, speak your truth, always go in humility, and never haughtiness or boldness in ways that want to show a spectacle, but with kindness and gentleness and love. For although you are the student, you are also the teacher to many. And he's putting in your hand, it looks like mala beads. It's not a rosary, it's like mala beads. And they're wooden and they're sacred. And he said, this came from the temple. Keep it with you always, and know that I am with you, and have peace with you, and peace be upon you. For you blaze and show the trail for others to follow that are afraid to step forward. You will show them the way. Greetings and much love, my friend. Oh, I got to get back to this world. Give me a second. Okay. Did that make sense? I don't know. I'm high. It's always good for me. I get high when I do these things.
He asked if he was dressed in saffron or white.
Well, it was beautiful. Let me tell you what, Brent, it was beautiful. He's a beautiful person. He's handsome, but he's beautiful soul. He had on this, it looked like a saffron. It was like a light yellow orange, and it was like very regal looking, what he had on, very regal, like it was custom made. And then he had a sash. It was very proper, and the hat matched. The hat looked like this. It looked okay. The hat was like this. I'll show it to you. Can you see it? Like a little hat, like a pillbox kind of hat. It was just on there, and it matched. Everything matched beautifully, and it was a pattern on it. It was beautiful.
Amazing. That was such a beautiful message, because I think even though it was directed at him, I think we could all draw something from it.
Are you kidding? Well, he's a master. Of course we can. I mean, and he was so kind to me. I said, I'm going to ruin your name, because I wanted to go, and I was like, and I didn't want to make fun of him. And he was so gracious, because it's okay. Like, he was so nice. Isn't it weird hearing a Southerner channel an Indian master? Only on Priscilla's show can you get that.
That's it. Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Okay, so it's that time of the night where we put our little competition up. So if you want to win a 30-minute session with Tamara, choose a number from 1 to 11 and put it in the box, and we'll choose a winner. So everybody go, put your numbers in the box, in the chat, and we'll choose somebody. And then Tamara can choose a number. So we hadn't discussed the number, so right. I'll let Tamara choose it. So everybody put a number in the chat. Ready, steady, go. So while we're waiting for everybody to put their numbers into the chat, I wanted to just say thank you very much to Tamara for being here tonight and sharing her beautiful story and journey into the spirit world with us. And if anybody wanted to really get hold of her and book a session with her, her details are on the screen now, as well as her email, in case anyone wanted to email her or ask her any questions. All the details are there. So it's www.southernbellmedium.com/book a session. And she would love to hear from you all. And also then on her Seeking Heaven, the Near-Death Experience, that is her YouTube link. Please feel free to go and like, click, and subscribe to her channel as well. She's got the most phenomenal guests among people that I know as well, like Fiona and Suki and Leo and myself. We're all on there. With a plethora of amazing and fascinating speakers as well. So And then also coming up, I think it's next weekend, isn't it? The 18th. Tomorrow is going to be a keynote speaker at the Spiritual Awakenings International, and it's free. So all you have to do is to just go to the website, www.spiritualawakeningsinternational.org/events, and register for free, because there's going to be a whole selection of speakers from all over the world taking part in this Spiritual Awakenings International. And tomorrow is one of the guest speakers with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. It's free. I'm doing a PowerPoint. I'm the keynote speaker, but they have great guests, but I'm going to get on there and say things I haven't said before. And it's going to be really in depth in the in-between states of my near-death experience and things that I learned on the other side. And I'm even going to show my light codes that I've been getting light codes. Oh my God. This is what I mean. Do you understand? Kind of get an idea, like don't label yourself. Just allow yourself to grow and develop and, have a laugh about it. I mean, you got to have a laugh. I mean, it's, we're spirit. And so we should continue to grow. So you've been wonderful, Priscilla. Thank you so much for having me.
Great having you on to chat with us. Okay. So if you can put in the private chat so nobody sees, put it in the private chat to me, a number, and then I will see if we've got any winners for today.
Oh, me. You're right. You're telling me to do that, to do it. Okay.
And then we will choose a winner. Because
it's weird. So do you
so between 1 and 11, the numbers.
Okay, this is my number. I'm gonna put there.
Okay.
Did you know that already?
Let's have a look. Let's see if we've got a winner.
That's my numerology number of my name. So
okay. We've got 2 people with the same number.
All right. Let's see here. Oh boy. Okay, hold on a minute. Well, we could do this. I could do 20 minutes each.
Okay.
We get, aren't I nice? Look how nice I am. And then if you want more in a life path, then, we'll talk about that. Yeah, why not do both?
Okay.
And just do a little, just a little sample for both and get a little bit of healing work. Yeah. I'll do 15, 20 minutes. That's fair. Instead of 30, we'll do that. And then, and that way both people are getting something. And it'll just be like a little snippet, but it won't be your whole life, but it'll be a little snippet. So, yeah.
Okay. And so our lucky winners are Owen French, the amazing Owen. He chose number 8. And the other one as well is our other winner that chose the number 8.
Well, one other thing. Let me show you this.
Tracy.
Yep.
And Tracy is like the winning magnet, because every session we've had over the last 4 weeks, she's won the session.
Are you serious? Really? That is so funny.
Oh, so Tracy and Owen, I've got both your details. I will WhatsApp the details to Tamara, and she'll be in touch with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to from Tamara to Owen and Tracy.
Yeah.
Owen's very happy. Woohoo!
Yeah, we'll have a good time. I want to meet your family. They sound like a blast. I like them. So
Tracy's also woohoo.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
Tracy's definitely got the luck of the Irish.
Oh, yes. Oh, that she definitely does. And also, Brent, I would love for him to validate and tell me more about. I want to learn more about this guy. But if you could validate that in the whatever, that'd be awesome, because I'm fascinated by that. I think that's beautiful that you're working with someone that's so holy.
Yeah,
that's what I say. Heaven's a big operation. I mean, it's a lot going on there. I don't know all of them. I'm sure there's There's, that used to be Chinese masters, and I don't know everybody. I don't know everybody, but it's beautiful. They're in that realm, and they're helping us. We need a lot of help.
So just to check again, this is her YouTube channel, Seeking Heaven, the Near-Death Experience. Please feel free to go and click like and subscribe to her channel. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, Tamara, for joining us today. And, her details are on the screen. So if anybody would like to book a session, they just need to quote the word spirit, and they'll get a little discount or an extra time. And, she's an amazing lady, and I've had many sessions with her where we end up talking for hours and hours and hours. So I just want to say thank you very much for joining us. And it's a beautiful thank you and good night from me. And
thank you. Namaste. Much love to you and to all the people that are watching. I wish you all abundance, love, and success.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.